My name's Frank Gavey, Deputy Gavey. I work for the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, and I've been with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office for 20 years. Right now I'm assigned to the schools as a school liaison. Let me turn this off for you. I've wanted to be in law enforcement basically my whole life, I think. I always like going on the tours of the local law enforcement, and always wanted to talk to the police and everything like that, and always were wondering where they were going when their license sirens were on and they were going through traffic and trying to get somewhere. And when I graduated high school, I didn't think I was ready for law enforcement. My maturity level and my attitude, I didn't think was where it needed to be to take on such a responsibility. So I went into the Marine Corps, spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, and once I got out of that, I got sidetracked and worked construction for approximately 10 years. And at one point I had the opportunity, I met somebody who knew somebody in the sheriff's office, and they said, just do it. And I did, took the leap, and was in the jail for 11 years and came out to the road. I first started in law enforcement at the jail, Oakland County Jail. And at the time when I was hired in 2002, that's where everybody had to start. You had to start in the jail. You got hired as a D1, Deputy 1 in the jail. And then from there, you get promoted and you have the opportunity to go to the police academy if you haven't gone yet. And then once you get promoted to Deputy 2, you have the opportunity to go to the road if you're certified law enforcement. You could stay in the jail. There's a lot of people who have done their careers in the jail. Jail does have some perks compared to the road. It's just a different career. What I found most interesting was going from the jail to the road. It was like starting a whole new job. But you worked for the same company and you knew the same people, but your job completely changed. And it was really fun to stay with the same people, know the same people, but start a new career. And a goal that I've always wanted to do is be a road officer. The first step is, well, really, see if this is what you want to do. You can, after 18, you can go on ride-alongs. Right now, because of COVID, I'm not sure where the county, Oakland County, our sheriff stands with that. I'm sure this is probably not the best time. And to see if this is what you want to do. The FBI handles a different caseload than the ATF. I wanted to work, when I first started out, I wanted to work for a small department because I wanted to get to know the community. I didn't want to work in a city. I didn't want to work, for Flint or Pontiac. I wanted to work where I get to know the neighbors, get to know your store owners. And so you got to ask yourself that. And then talk to the police whenever you see them. Ask them questions. Ask them what they think or where they got their start. It's all right. You can come and talk to us. There's a cadet program, and it starts at an early age, early teens, might be even 12, 13, up until 18. And the sheriff puts that on, and I think they meet once a month. But it's something, and they talk about law enforcement. So 1 month they might talk about firearms, the next month they might talk about law, the next month they'll bring canines in and do dog handling and how do you train the dogs, or you have a helicopter, that talk about what their job is and everything the helicopter does. So as a young adult, that would be a great place to get their start, is the Oakland County Cadet Program. And you got to ask yourself why you want to get into law enforcement. And your answer should be to help the community. This community backs their law enforcement so much, and it's really hard to believe, that what you see in the news across the country, how that law enforcement or those law officers are dealing with that negativity. In Clarkston, Independence Township, they go above and beyond. I mean, it seems like somebody's doing something for us all the time. going through Tim Hortons and somebody buying you coffee, the car in front of you, or out to eat and somebody's buying you your meal out to eat, or pumping gas and somebody walks over to shake your hand and, you know, let us know they have our back and they support, you know, their law enforcement. And then you have the other end, that just the hatred for not even law enforcement, just angry people. Could be for any reason. It could be, you know, their own life, their job, you know, they just don't like law enforcement. Those are the people you want to connect with, I think, to see what can I do, or what can I show them about law enforcement that I could change their mind. I mean, a lot of times you talk to these people and they just are going off what they see in the news. And that's sad, because that's not everybody. You know, if we judged what one person did, everybody on one person's action, you know, we would tear each other apart. So those are the people I like to connect with. Independence, Clarkson is just a great community. Working at the schools, you know, and maybe this was my calling, to work at the schools, to make the impact at a level of when the kids are younger and their first encounter is with me that isn't in necessarily a negative situation. You know, I always invite kids to come to my office, come and talk. You know, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a counselor, I'm not your parent. You want to know what's going on, or you have a question, I got pulled over, was this right? Is he allowed to do this? One thing I will be is honest. And they know it. They might not want the answer, I'll tell you. You might not want to hear it, but I'll tell you the honest answer, because they should know it. They're old enough, especially at the high school. And it doesn't do them any good by giving them incorrect answer, or leading them the wrong way, or softening it up for them. So being at the school gives me that opportunity to do that. A lot of times the kids, and the kids will make a mistake. And then the first time their parents might talk to the police is coming into my office, and we have a discussion, and I explain to them, this is what's going on, and this is what will happen in the process of, making a police report, if it has to go to court, the other options. But it's that first contact with law enforcement, that they can, even in a negative situation, at least their contact with me can be as positive as it can be in that situation. Also being with this job and getting to know the parents in the community, everywhere I go now, because I also live in Clarkston, you run into people we know and people that I've ran across, and does everybody like me? No, because I have to still do my job. But for the most part, I think I've done my job well, and I think I've represented Oakland County Sheriff well. So that's, working with the community, that's what it's all about. Not leaving anybody with a bitter taste of law enforcement. I know they say there's an old saying, or they say, you're always on duty. I think I probably take that to the next step a little, because I'm always watching out. Like, all my neighbors know what I do for a living. They'll come over and say, hey, can you do something about this speeder? Or how do we get a speed limit sign put up here? How do we get a stop sign? It's just what I like to do. I mean, I'm a talker. You probably know I'm a talker now. So I'm even, working with my lieutenant here in Independence and trying to develop a community liaison. So the businesses in Clarkston, along with the community, the subdivisions, and having one deputy they can talk to with questions. How can we make our community safer? All the way from the individual who wants to put cameras around their house, to the store owners that want to know how to get rid of the skateboarders that are running over their patrons coming in or out of their building. They have one person they can go to, and to develop that relationship between the the sheriff's office, and the community would be an awesome thing to do. And I really hope it takes off. And I really hope it works out. People think Clarkston is a nice, quiet community, and it is for the most part when you compare it to a city. Or, if you want to compare it obviously to Pontiac or Flint or, Detroit, it is a quiet community, but it doesn't, you still have several calls. And, we get our share of medical calls, but we get also our share of high stress, I would say, calls, or calls with a little bit more intensity. How has it changed? It's just how people see us now. 5 years ago, they looked at us completely differently than they do now. And it's just what's going on right now. 5 years from now, it could go back the other way. So that's a tough question to answer. 4 years ago, everybody was worried about Alice training and school shootings, and they wanted the police there, and they wanted, how come we can't have, a deputy in each one of our schools? How come we can't, have more deputies in the township too? Now, they don't want to see us, unless we have to be there. And so it changes. It's law enforcement is always evolving and always changing. It's a fluid type job. It's a, thing that is always changing, and we have to keep changing with it. Right, trying to do your job, every day, and I was told, what is it now, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, an instructor at OCC, criminal justice instructor, treat everybody like it's the first time they've had contact with law enforcement. So being in the school, I really try to do that. You have to treat everybody like they don't know the law, because they might not know the law, just because this is what I do every single day. So if you treat people and explain to them, okay, this is what you did, and this is what I have to do, because this is my job to do it. And if you take the time to explain it, no matter if they're in the right or they're in the wrong, we get positive feedback like, thank you for explaining it. Thank you for, what you do. Okay, I understand what you have to do. Are you gonna win get 100%? No, but you do your best. If you can take the time, and once again, we're in Independence. There's, and people, the deputies in Pontiac, they're 5-6 calls deep before they even start, deep meaning there's 5 or 6 calls waiting for them before they even get in their car and sign on and get ready to go out and patrol. And so they have to hustle and answer the calls by priority and in a safe manner for them, in a safe manner for the public. We have time to explain what's going on in the law. Most of the time, when something happens, if the person just is able to talk with me, vent to me, and they're having a neighbor problem, and they can just talk to me for 20 minutes and explain their neighbor problem and try to understand where they're coming from, they're fine. They don't even want me to go talk to the neighbor. They just wanted somebody to talk to and listen to their side. And that's the kind of policing, if we could do it nationwide, it would be awesome. Because, people want to be heard. They want people to understand. Do I always agree with them? No. But I can still hear that, listen to them and hear what they have to say. So I think that's important. The perception of law enforcement, you're always going to get somebody who's doing something and, why are you picking on me? Why are you not picking on that guy? Well, because we're here, let's talk about you and me and not worry about that guy. And, it seems to work. I mean, you can get people really ramped up, and you can keep people calm, talk to them in a calm way. Yelling at somebody is not going to improve the situation at all. They might be yelling at you, but if I keep talking to you like I am right now, and they're yelling at me and carrying on, they'll eventually come down. And then we're having a conversation. And then they're shaking my hand when we go our own ways. So that's my goal. We can talk about training because, you know, I really do, and I know I work for Oakland County Sheriff, you know, but my boss, he is a great boss. The training that we get through Oakland County, that's why you don't see Oakland County usually in the news for anything. We have quarterly training, we have monthly training. So this month, you know, we do EVO. So that's where we pitting cars or boxing a car in and doing a felony stop, stuff like, you know, something like that. We also do like CIT training where we get certain deputies, and more, the goal is to get all the deputies certified in critical incident training. And that will be where you deal with an individual that might be having a mental breakdown, or they might be high, they might be homeless, they might be, you know, have PTSD. And Oakland County and the Sheriff's Office it's just they go above and beyond. And the training that we get for this, and knowing if somebody's having a seizure or somebody's on drugs or somebody is drunk or somebody has Alzheimer's or dementia, we go to a day's training, quarterly training. Other departments, and I don't want to start naming other departments, but they're in Oakland County, you know, they might do training once a year of this, or they might do firearms training once a year, or they might do, they might have to be sent away to do this training. But our department and the sheriff is so pro training and so pro, our training unit is just, it's got to be one of the greatest in the country, to be honest with you, because of what we can go to and what we see. It's really incredible. And I tell whoever will listen to me, you're not going to see us in the news. If you take the training seriously and you do what they ask you to do, usually the role player, they have nowhere to go. Like, it doesn't escalate because you've done everything you've been trained to do. Independence, no, we don't get a lot of hot calls, meaning, you know, where we're going licensed sirens and everybody's going there and we're surrounding a house or anything like that. But if you treat every call because it's a family trouble and you park a house away and not in the driveway, and you don't walk straight up to the front door and you stay away from the front window on the basic calls, and you make that your habit, you'll have a long career, a long, safe career doing that, even in independence. You know, things are down for law enforcement right now. I think it's up to us, you know, to raise our standards and bring it back up. Being an open book, that's not backing down. That's not, that's just doing the job and make sure you do it right. And if you do it right, you keep up on the laws, you keep up on your training, you keep up on all that, you know, we'll weather this storm as well. You know, law enforcement isn't going anywhere. I know some people might want us to go somewhere, but what would society be without us here? This must be the way I was raised, or the person I am, you know, the camaraderie, playing high school sports, to being in the military, to now being in law enforcement. It's having that group of people that you count on, they count on you, that can make the job or break the job. I mean, I've been at it for 20 years. You know, I wish I would have started when I was younger, because it's fun. And you have those other, you know, you have your partners that have your back. And so I just, you know, like I said, I wish I could do, I mean, I'm looking forward to retirement, but, you know, I'm fine with, let's keep going, you know, as long as I can keep it positive.